SERIAN and Sri AMAN declared as African swine fever disease control areas. Scientists created magnetic slime to help in medical field, and China Marine's economy steadily growing. Those are the headlines for tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is TVS Nightline with me, Muhammad Yusuf. We begin with this story. Sri AMAN and SERIAN divisions have been declared as African swine fever disease control area. Minister for Modernization of Agriculture and Regional Development, Datuk Sri Dr. Stephen Rundi Utom, signed the declaration on Wednesday, April 7th, conferred by Section 35 in Bracket 1 of the Veterinary Public Health Ordinance 1999. Meanwhile, Department of Veterinary Services DVS Sarawak Director Dr. Adrian Susin Ambud noted that the outbreak of African swine fever was initiated from West Kalimantan.
Bahagian Sri AMAN dan SERIAN telah diikhtiar sebagai African Swine Fever Disease Control Area yang baru berikutan laporan media Indonesia mengenai wabak African Swine Fever di Kalimantan Barat. Dalam masa yang sama, dua kawasan baru, Kampung Mapu Kijabe dan Kampung Dahak Kisau di bahagian SERIAN telah disahkan positif African Swine Fever oleh Makmal Veterina Sarawak.
With the declaration, the public, including pig farmers in the division, were advised to refrain from feeding food waste to pigs and refrain from moving live pigs, pork or pork products out of and into Sri AMAN and SERIAN without a permit from DVS. Dr. Adrian said all pork products must be declared at any entry point into Sarawak, including the airport and seaport.
Untuk produk pengimport yang membawa produk babi dari luar Sarawak masuk ke Sarawak, anda perlu mendapatkan import permit. Kegagalan bermuat demikian merupakan satu kesalahan di bawah Ordinan Kesihatan Veterina 1999 dan boleh didenda sehingga RM25,000.
He further stressed that with the occurrence of sudden death of pigs and any illegal activities involving pork and pork products should be reported to the nearest divisional veterinary office. Farmers too are required to increase farm sanitization and surrounding area using disinfectant and avoid contact with wild boar or farm animals by increasing physical barriers.
On to our next headline. Researchers at the Chinese University of Hong Kong have created a magnetic slime robot designed to enter the human body. The dark-colored magnetic blob has been compared to characters in movies such as Venom and Flubber. Researchers hope that the slimy creation would be of use in the medical field, especially in retrieving accidentally swallowed objects.
Citing a report from The Guardian, the robot contains magnetic particles which can be controlled by external magnets for it to move, rotate, and change into the desired shape. Co-creator of the magnetic slime, Professor Li Zhang and his team, said that the slime has viscoelastic properties, which means that it sometimes behaves like a solid and other time liquid. The slime is made out of a mixture of a polymer called polyvinyl alcohol, neodymium magnet, and borax, a common household detergent. To make it safe for human use, researchers coat the slime in a layer of silica to form a protective layer. While the research team have no immediate plans to test the slime in a medical trial, the scientists hope that it could be useful in the medical field, in addition to be used for other usage such as fixing circuit boards.
Now, China's marine economy registered a robust recovery with growth rate of 8.3% in 2021, equivalent to 9 trillion yuan or $1.41 trillion, and thus greatly enhanced the country's international economic connections and boost the construction of the maritime Silk Road.
海洋经济的发展，保持一个强劲的恢复的一个状态。 增速呢是8.3，略高于2021年的国民经济整体发展的速度。 对国民经济发展的贡献呢是8我们大量的这个海洋交通运输为我们的这个经济的国际联系的增强以及海上丝路建设呢做出了重大的一个。
One of China's lucrative marine products is the offshore wind power, producing 16.9 million kilowatts of offshore wind power and was ranked first place among all countries producing energy. Aside from that, its marine transportation sector has also shown significant growth, with an annual added value of $117.3 million. The added value of marine biomedicine climbed 18.7%, equivalent to $7.76 billion, attributed to its continued policy support and innovative efforts. Its shipbuilding sector gained major growth with an added value of $19.86 billion, a rise of 7.7%, where more clean energy-powered ships are being built. Meanwhile, technologies for the development and utilization of new ocean energies are being upgraded intensively.
一系列的重大项目上马，那么实现海上新能源，包括海上的波浪能、一些和太阳能和潮汐能等。
China's coastal tourism is also gradually recovering as policies to stimulate consumption and help businesses to overcome constraints were introduced. The industry recorded about $240.4 million in added value, an increase of 12.8% from 2020.
On to some local news. A local consortium and one from China have submitted their bids for the Kuching Urban Transportation Systems or KUTS project's first system package tender, Sarawak Metro said. The consortiums are KACC Construction Sdn Berhad, Czech Construction Sdn Berhad Joint Venture, and CRRC Hong Kong Co. Limited.
Sarawak Metro, through a statement, said each joint venture must include a Sarawak partner as a requirement of the tender exercise. As such, the contract will be awarded to the successful bidder in the second quarter of the year. Sarawak Metro, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Sarawak Economic Development Corporation (SEDC), advertised for rolling stock vendors in both international and national publications in mid-2021 on the supply of rolling stock hydrogen-powered ART vehicles, depot equipment and maintenance vehicles, signaling and control system, and automatic platform gate. Meanwhile, the KUTS project will be developed in phases, with Phase 1 involving the development of 2 lines, namely the Samarahan line, which is about 28 kilometers from Rembus to city center, and the SERIAN line, about 24 kilometers from the 12-mile Kuching-SERIAN Expressway to the Isthmus. The ARTS passenger service will be introduced in stages beginning in the fourth quarter of 2025.
Ocean Vantage Holding Berhad wholly owned unit, Ocean Vantage Engineering Sdn Berhad, has clinched a 71.3 million ringgit contract to provide civil, building and piling works for a new onshore gas plant in Sarawak, owned by Petroleum Nasional Berhad. The contract for the additional gas sales facilities in Bintulu was awarded by Petrofac Engineering Services Malaysia Sdn Berhad.
Ocean Vantage Executive Director Stephen Yao said the group can get a healthy profit margin in the mid-teens range for this project compared to single-digit margins in normal contracting jobs. Commencing on April 1st, Ocean Vantage expects to complete the temporary site facility works by June 2nd this year, while the civil, building and piling works are slated to finish by April 30th, 2023. As such, the contract shall contribute positively to the group's earnings for the financial year ending December 31st, 2021 and financial year ending December 31st, 2022. Given the prevailing high crude oil price that is projected to sustain at least in the near to mid-term, Ocean Vantage said it sees many opportunities as capital expenditures are flowing again. Previously, Ocean Vantage highlighted that the Premier of Sarawak, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, announced in February 2022 that the state was exploring new ONG blocks onshore and offshore to ensure sufficient volume to power Sarawak's journey towards industrialization. On a separate note, the company said trading of its shares was halted from 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday and will resume from 3:30 p.m. Ocean Vantage shares were last traded at 26.5 cents. This gives the Sarawak-based integrated energy support services provider a market capitalization of 106.82 million ringgit.
The water supply issue that has been plaguing several areas in SIBU is expected to be resolved by May. Deputy Minister for Public Health, Housing and Local Government, Michael Tiang Ming T, said the problem occurred as a result of the ongoing Kanawit water supply project.
They want to upgrade the water supply quality. If they're going to install another 1,000 millimeters pipe, add on to the existing 600 millimeter pipe. So after this month completed this section, we will see water pressure improvement.
However, he said, with the rapid development, long-term solutions need to be implemented, in which his party is ready to cooperate with the SIBU Water Board to resolve the issue.
Now, what I want to tell the SIBU Water Board is that, now as Adung, now I want them to bring forward to me, to my attention in future, any solution they think that is necessary to boost, to provide better water supply quality in my area. Please bring to my attention. I will do my part to fight for more funding, to fight for more approval for new projects to improve the water supply.
He said so during a work visit to the SIBU Water Board. Meanwhile, Michael also urged local residents to install temporary storage tanks to ensure continuous water supply.
If they have a household water tank installed according to bylaws in their house, they should be able to have some water reserve at home.
Right, police arrested 3 individuals, including 2 Vietnamese women, for alleged involvement in drug trafficking and seized various types of drugs worth 40,540 ringgit. All 3 suspects were remanded today till April 12th to facilitate investigation under 39B of the Dangerous Drug Act 1952. Initial investigation revealed that on April 4th, police had stopped a man for inspection and found drugs on him and his vehicle. The suspect then led the police to an apartment where 2 Vietnamese women, aged 24 and 33, lived and seized the remaining drugs. On the breakdown of drugs seized, there were 58 packets of ecstasy-infused juice powder, 13.35 grams of ketamine and 5.08 grams of ecstasy pill. Sarawak Narcotics Crime Investigation Department Deputy Chief Superintendent Wong Leong Meng said the seized drugs were meant to be distributed to the local market. Police also seized a sedan car, an apartment access card and cash up to 6,220 ringgit. All 3 suspects are currently remanded for 7 days from April 6th to April 12th to facilitate investigation under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. Upon conviction, suspects may be punishable with a death sentence or life imprisonment with liable of 15 strokes of caning. The skipper of a boat boarded by 4 foreign divers who were reported missing after a diving exercise to Pulau Tokong, Sanggol has been detained after he tested positive for drug. Johor Police Chief Datuk Kamarulzaman Mamat said the man in his 20s was initially called in to give his statement before a urine test found him positive for drugs. Kamarulzaman told reporters that the skipper was detained by police for further investigation. He said the suspect was detained at the Mersing District Police Headquarters at about 11:30 p.m. yesterday to facilitate an investigation under Section 15 in Bracket 1 of the Dangerous Drugs Act. When asked if there were elements of negligence in the incident, Kamarulzaman responded by saying his team will conduct a thorough investigation. Earlier, Johor Menteri Besar Dato' On Hafiz Ghazi has confirmed that one of the divers, Norwegian Christine Grode, was found safely earlier today. The missing 3 were identified as Alexia Alexandra, 18 from France, Adrian Peter, 46 from England, and his son Nathan Renz, 14. A mass search and rescue operation was activated comprising 90 members and officers from various agencies, including 30 divers. Logistics include 2 helicopters, and the search, which enters its 2nd day, covers an area of 107 nautical miles radius. We'll be taking a short break. When we come back, future Harvard graduate feels surreal over Harvard acceptance and 250,000 inbound visitors since April 1st, right here on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. Now, Harvard-bound Kuching lass Alyssa Yap Shin Yi is still in disbelief over her acceptance into one of the Ivy Leagues. Alyssa is among the 6 Malaysian students accepted into the prestigious university for the class of 2026 cohort.
Pursuing an undergraduate degree in neuroscience and linguistics, the Green Road Secondary School alumni said she is grateful to be accepted into Harvard as the acceptance rates for the class of 2026 is 3.19%, the lowest in the university's history.
Saya memilih Harvard University kerana mereka memberikan peluang kepada pelajar mereka untuk benar-benar menggabungkan pelbagai jenis bidang seperti saya ingin menggabungkan bidang neuroscience serta linguistik yang merupakan tuan minat saya. Selain merupakan antara universiti yang terbaik di dunia, mereka juga menyediakan pelbagai sumber dan peluang untuk pelajar mereka untuk mengembangkan potensi diri dari segi kajian, kursus akademik yang unik dan sebagainya. Yang penting, mereka juga memberikan bantuan kewangan yang membolehkan keluarga saya untuk membiayai kos pengajian saya di sana tanpa merupakan beban yang sangat berat.
At the same time, the 20-year-old also advised other students not to be afraid to reach for their dreams.
Bagi semua pelajar, saya menggalakkan anda semua untuk tidak takut mencuba dan mencari peluang untuk berjaya. Tanpa kira latar belakang pendidikan ataupun keluarga anda, memang terdapat banyak peluang untuk anda mengembangkan potensi diri dan mencapai impian anda. Cuma perlu cari peluang tersebut dan cuba nasib anda, kan? Kalau tak dapat kali pertama pun tak apa, asalkan belajar daripada pengalaman. Asalkan ada motivasi, disiplin diri dan benar-benar mencabar diri, saya pasti semua yang tidak akan menyesal mencuba mencapai impian mereka yang masing-masing.
A total of 252,730 inbound travelers were recorded since the reopening of the country's border on April 1st. According to Immigration Director General Datuk Seri Khairul Zaimi Daud, of the total recorded, 126,392 were arrivals and 28,301 departures involving Malaysians, while 55,121 arrivals and 42,916 departures involved foreign travellers.
He said the country's gateway at the Sultan Iskandar building in Johor recorded highest movement involving foreigners at 160,818, followed by Kuala Lumpur International Airport KLIA with 38,407, Sultan Abu Bakar Complex Johor 53,113, Kuala Lumpur International Airport 2 KLIA 2 11,712, and Bukit Kayu Hitam Kedah with 6,980. The highest number of travelers were from Singapore, 65,165, Thailand, 7,841, Indonesia, 5,173, India, 2,477, and the United Kingdom, 1,485. Additionally, on the issuance of the International Malaysian Passport, Khairul Zaimi said the Immigration Department had issued 12,923 copies during this period. Local and international travelers are reminded to always adhere to the general travel protocol set by the Ministry of Health and the immigration regulations.
As the public response to the ongoing immunization program are still rather low in some states, the government is looking into a more creative and effective method to promote the national COVID-19 immunization program for kids and the booster shot distribution programs.
According to University Putra Malaysia's Department of Social Science and Faculty of Human Ecology head Dr. Muhammad Roslan Rosnon, the spirit of battling COVID-19 during the endemic transition phase needs to be revitalized, similar to when the pandemic began 2 years ago.
Ia bukan lagi kita serahkan bulat-bulat kepada kerajaan ataupun badan berkuasa untuk melaksanakan perkara ini, tetapi ia perlu timbul secara orang kata semula jadi, kan, organik, secara organik di dalam komuniti itu, supaya mereka ada rasa ini tanggungjawab bersama. Yang slogan-slogan yang kita gunakan pada awal-awal tentang COVID-19 itu hari ini agak kurang, kan, kedengaran. Saya nampak dia agak kurang untuk kedengaran mengenai tentang kita perlu bantras bersama, kebersamaan di dalam memerangi COVID-19. Dia dah semakin kurang.
Roslan was speaking at a live broadcast on Bernal TV on Wednesday.
Welcome back to the Nightline. Now, more than 163 wildlife species were released back into lagoons and forests in Colombia after being seized and rehabilitated by authorities fighting wildlife trafficking. These included 15 different species such as the anteaters, turtles, macaws, and toucan, and a leopard.
They were nurtured back to health by fauna vets from Environmental Authority Corporina Kia in charge of managing sustainable development.
Ayudamos a conservar, preservar y mitigar los daños que hemos causado en el ambiente o hábitat de nosotros los seres humanos. Ayudamos a que estas especies que han sido retenidos de manera ilegal vuelvan a su hábitat natural y así para poder conservar y preservar los ecosistemas.
Corporina Kia released more than 1,200 animals back into the wild last year alone. Colombia is one of the world's most biodiverse countries by square kilometers and is home to some 10% of the world's flora and fauna.
Wrapping up the Nightline, scientists in Chile have unearthed a rare cemetery with well-preserved bones of ancient flying reptiles that roamed the Andean country's Atacama Desert more than 100 million years ago.
The remains belong to pterosaurs, flying creatures that lived alongside dinosaurs that had a long wingspan and fed by filtering water through long teeth similar to flamingos. The group of scientists, led by Jonathan Alarcon, an investigator at the University of Chile, have been searching for pterosaurs for years, but this discovery surpassed their hopes.
Este hallazgo es importante, uno, porque en Chile son pocos los hallazgos de pterosaurio en particular, pero tienen una relevancia mundial, ya que este tipo de hallazgos es relativamente escaso. Casi en todo el mundo los restos de pterosaurios se encuentran principalmente aislados. Son pocos los casos en los que se encuentran acumulaciones de huesos de estos animales. Y en Chile, este sitio chileno es importante por eso. Nos podría permitir obtener un montón de información relevante, como por ejemplo relacionada con los hábitos de vida de estos animales. Podríamos, por ejemplo, determinar cómo estaban compuestos los grupos de estos animales, si es que criaban a sus hijos o no, entre otras preguntas.
The discovery allows studies on the pterosaur's habits and not just its anatomy.
El hecho de que se descubra un yacimiento con restos de pterosaurio preservados en 3 dimensiones es valioso porque la mayoría de los restos de estos animales en el mundo se encuentran aplastados, ¿no? Son animales de huesos huecos. Entonces, cuando ocurre el proceso de fosilización, se rompen esto y quedan aplastados. En este caso no, están preservados en 3 dimensiones, por lo tanto se pueden conocer detalles de la anatomía muy reveladores para entender mejor a estos animales que prosperaron en el planeta por más de 160 millones de años.
Another unexpected surprise was how well preserved the bones scientists discovered were.
La mayoría de los huesos de los pterosaurios se encuentran así, aplastados, quebrados. Sin embargo, lo que pudimos rescatar en este yacimiento son huesos preservados en 3 dimensiones.
The find was made 65 kilometers away from another site where other pterosaur remains were found, and this discovery supports scientists' hypothesis that pterosaurs were once widespread in northern Chile.
And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. For more headlines, head on to our website at TVSTVMY or follow us on our social media. I'm Mohammad Yusuf. Thank you for watching.